Attention Austin guitar players and bass players. Are you in need of setup or repair on your axe? Well, I have the guy for you, gang. That's Jason Swedberg over at J. Scott Luthery, and you can find him at J. Scott Luthery on Instagram. Now, if you listen to the show, you know I've been talking about Jason for years. Why is that? Because I've been taking my guitars to Jason for over 20 years. Not only does he do the best job, but he has the best prices and the fastest service in town. Again, find him at J. Scott Luthery on Instagram. Not only is he doing an amazing job repairing and setting up guitars, he is now building guitars. That's right. He built me an SG Junior, which I have, and it sounds amazing. It feels great. It's the very first SG Junior he ever built. I've got a J. Scott Luthery SG Junior. You can go see him at J. Scott Luthery on Instagram. Get a guitar built. Get your guitars fixed. Get them set up. It's time, man. They've been hanging on the wall all through COVID. Now it's time to get them out, get them fixed, and get out there and play. J. Scott Luthery on Instagram. Let's get down. Gang, we all know Spotify is the best and most popular music streaming app. They have millions of songs by millions of artists available at your fingertips. But did you know that aside from millions of songs, Spotify now has thousands and thousands of podcasts from all of your favorites, including Fresh Air, How Did This Get Made, Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. They also have original programming like Stay Free, The Story of the Clash, and of course, the ever-popular Barack Obama and Bruce Springsteen podcast going on right now. Just go to Spotify.com or download the app from your app store. And don't forget to follow How Did I Get Here? That's Spotify. Millions of songs and thousands of podcasts. Let's get down.
And you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here?
It's time for How Did I Get Here? And now here is your host,
All right. Hello, I'm Johnny. I'm your host. Welcome to the show. I hope you guys have all had a good weekend. Whatever it is you did this weekend, I hope you're healthy. I hope you're safe. I hope you're vaccinated. Because apparently this Omicron is going around like crazy. I mean, I'm talking to people today, calling me. I got a video shoot set up for a couple weeks for some people, and they're like, oh, hey, yeah, man, I got COVID. So is that I'm going to not have COVID by Saturday? So you think I'll be cool by Monday? It's going around. So all I can say is, like, be careful. Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do to stay safe, you know? We played, Skyrocket played Friday night in San Antonio at Sam's, and there was no sign of COVID happening there. There was with us. You know what I mean? We were all kind of trying to be, but you know, how safe are we? We're all singing on the same mics and like fucking on stage, spitting all over everyone. Everyone in the audience is, hey, hot child in the... That's the sound of me spitting, not farting. I wasn't like farting on the audience on Friday. I was not doing that. Although I will say that I was not impressed with the food at Sam's on Friday, and it made me just like kind of had a weird taste to it that I could taste the next day. Which I knew I had COVID. I didn't have COVID because I could taste stuff. That was my that was how I knew when I had COVID. Other than that, I really didn't do much this weekend. Hung out with Rosie, walked around a lot, went to brunch with an old friend, hung out. You know, okay, so I go to brunch with this old friend of mine, Kim, super cool. She used to work at Whole Foods with me in Houston like 30 years ago or something. More than 30 years ago, actually. So we go to brunch to this place. I'm not going to say what it is because it's shitty of me to do that. But we go to a place and we hang out. We have a couple of drinks, but we're catching up. We haven't seen each other in a long time. We haven't really sat down and talked in a long time. So we talked for a couple of hours. But apparently there was some kind of shift change. There was some confusion. This place was understaffed and like nobody came for like the last hour and a half. And then like, you know, for the last half hour, like, where's the guy? So finally she gets up and goes up to a guy and says, hey man, can we get the check for this table? He's like, yeah, I don't know. Okay, I'll check it out. No one had come by and see if we had been needed like drinks or anything like that. We were just sitting there for like, you know, hour and a half shooting the shit. Then nobody comes with the check. So finally, like I get a little bit irritated. And I tried this line that was just really shitty, and I'm trying to control those outbursts in public. But I went up to the lady behind the counter, and I said, "Hey, I'm leaving in 5 minutes. You can either bring me the check before I leave, and I'll pay it, or I'm just leaving. And so she came up later. I apologized. I was like, man, this is really shitty of me to say that to you. She shows up with the check, right? Why do I do that stuff? Oh, trying to be a good person in this world is really hard. It is. It's really hard because you get frustrated. And they're frustrated. That poor lady was trying to fucking working on a Sunday. She's probably hungover like a young person should be, just stuck at this place and like shorthanded and like, you know, jerky brunch people threatening her that they're going to leave without paying their check like me. Anyway, I apologized. It all worked out and I paid the check. Okay. So we're all good there at that place. And I'm sorry to that lady. I'm also sorry to my friend that I had to endure that sort of, that's like lead singer shit. You know what I mean? There's no reason for it, but you just do it. Like, hey, look, man, no one's paying attention to me. I'm the singer. Where's my check? Where's my check? Also, guys, I'm in the thick of it looking for a car, man. I mean, I've been talking to car guys all day. I'm going tomorrow. The day that this comes out, I'll be out all day looking at some cars. I've got a couple of appointments I've set up. Hopefully I'll end up with one, man. It's hard to find a car right now. Like, they're not joking. It is hard to find a used car right now that isn't overpriced. So anyway, I found a couple deals. Hopefully they'll work out and we'll be in good shape. Be back in the car game again. Gang, I want to quickly throw a shout out to my friends over at Guayaquil Organic Yerba Mate. Check this out. So I was making this record with Austin Music Foundation Artist Development Program over at The Bubble. And there was a bunch of Guayaquil Yerba Mate in there, some different flavors. And it's the yellow can, you know, you see it at 7-Eleven where the energy drinks are. Also, I'll tell you this in a second. Anyway, so they're drinking this stuff. I started drinking it. I really liked it. And I was talking to my friend Scott that owns it. And he's like, oh, yeah, I can introduce you to the people. And I did. And they are supporting the show by giving us 5 cases a month. So I'm getting 5 cases of this Guayaquil Organic Yerba Mate. All these different flavors. They're all delicious. They don't have a lot of calories like this. I'm trying the Orange Exuberance today. It is a non-carbonated one. There are a couple of carbonated ones, but this one's like a 16-ounce can. It only has 120 calories. Fantastic tasting thing. Here, I'll pop it right now. Listen. Here we go. Oh, delicious. All their flavors are delicious. Really delicious. You can find them at guayaquil.com, or as I said, the yellow can. You can find them at 7-Eleven and convenience stores, wherever the energy drinks are. Also, this was the hack that I was going to tell you. At H-E-B here in Austin, I noticed that they're significantly cheaper. I can't tell how much it was, but I was just at H-E-B, and I saw the Guayaquil, and I was like, oh, wow, those are cheaper than 7-Eleven. So you can stock up on these guys over at your H-E-B. Go to guayaquil.com, find out where it is that they sell them. Find out exactly. Maybe there's a store right by you, maybe a little convenience store or something. Thanks, Craig and the gang over there at Guayaquil Organic Yerba Mate. Gang, I have a great show for you today. As I was talking about the Austin Music Foundation Artist Development Program, we just finished wrapping that record. It is finished. It is mixed. It is off to be mastered. And one of the artists in our artist development program was Quentin and the Past Lives. Lead singer Quentin Arispe is my guest on the show today. Now, I've really gotten to get to know Quentin over the last few months. Been working with him very closely. And it's funny. He has so much ambition, so much talent, and just is always thinking outside the box constantly. And it's funny because when we were about to do this podcast, I was like, do you want to wait until we go in the studio and do this? And he was like, no. So just a couple of days before we went in and recorded 2 songs with Quentin and the Past Lives, which turned out absolutely fantastic. You will be able to hear them in January. You'll hear all about it on the show. All right. Quentin and the Past Lives. So Quentin Arispe came in and we had a great conversation. And then a couple of days later, I went in the studio with him and his band, and not just me, Frenchie Smith producing, Einar Peterson also producing, and we went in the studio. We had been working on these 2 songs for about a month, in rehearsals. Einar and I went to I want to say 3 or 4, maybe 5 rehearsals with the band, and really kind of like ironed out, helped them sort of visualize what it is that they were trying to find in their music. And so this all culminated by us all going in the studio together and that band stepping up to the plate and knocking that shit out of the park. It was unbelievable. Everybody threw down like a masterful musician. Quentin is a fantastic singer, a fantastic songwriter. So much focus in his music. You know what I mean? Like he's got like he just put out this record called The Spiritual Waiting Room in 2021, earlier this year. You'll hear this song Killer from that album as soon as I stop talking. But this song's fantastic, man. Great songwriter. And he's decided to change his style a little bit and go into more of a glam rock vibe. And he's taken on a new persona, Neptune, which when he very first told me about it, being a 53-year-old guy that writes songs on like a piano and guitar, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to do some grand vision and be some character. So when he came to me at first and told me about Neptune, I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. You know, I don't know what he's talking about. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you don't want to be the guy that told David Bowie that Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars was a dumb thing. Just go be yourself. Because that was a great idea. And it turns out Quentin has really been developing it. And since we even had this conversation, he's been working on it. So, without further ado, please enjoy my conversation with the amazingly talented and super fun to talk to, Quentin Arispe from Quentin and the Past Lives. Let's get down. My setups look like this since I was in my 20s.
Yeah, this is how my apartment looks.
Yeah, when I got married and we moved into our first house, we didn't have a dining room.
Yeah.
Like this is the dining room. I did the same thing, just put all my shit in there.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense.
The only thing I'm missing is drums is the bummer. That's the thing I miss the most.
These are just my earphones that I wear every day of my life. So,
yeah?
Yeah.
Get a little closer on that mic.
Hello.
So weird because I feel like we're in this family right now, and like we're, you know, like I'm some weird older uncle or something.
Yeah, it's like you're like kind of
non-molesty uncle.
Oh yeah, for sure. You're kind of like like an uncle mixed with like an aunt.
Exactly.
You're like
that's what I want to be.
Yeah, you're like
exactly
you're like a unkent, a kind of unkent. An unkent. You're my unkent.
Are you? I was going through your stuff today, and it's so weird because we've been just dealing with these couple of songs, right?
Yeah.
So I'm living in this world where that's what you sound like, and I fucking forgot what you sounded like on Mr. Mrs. a few months ago.
Yeah, literally.
So
literally.
Different.
Yeah.
Are you still playing that stuff? I mean, are you still playing? I mean, you should, right? Don't you?
Like, what do you mean, like playing?
Like with Quentin in the Past Lives, do you play Mr. Mrs.?
No.
Are you going to play that when you play Friday?
No, because that wasn't, that isn't even, like, that was a feature. Like, that was something that I did,
okay, you're right.
With the
I'm
band.
sorry.
But it's still me.
But
it's
the Spiritual
still very
Waiting
me.
Room came out earlier this year and it's completely different than what you guys are doing.
Different. And I think we're doing like one song or two from that. I like doing really, not like really short, but I like doing short sets.
Right, yeah, who doesn't?
Like I like doing, but not even just because I want to leave, but like, but also because like, I really love like
make a statement.
It makes a statement. Like I like punching people in the face and then being like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
And then it's like people are like, what does that, and I need more, and it's like, yeah. And so even if I headline, like it's probably going to be like a 45 minute show, because I feel like there's like comes a time in all, even great sets, like I mean just the greatest artists, you know, where it's like it's an hour, it's 2 hours, and I'm just kind of getting like, okay.
Yeah.
Like all the greats already happened, and then you're probably not going to play the other ones I want to hear for like another hour, and there's just like this weird lull.
Right.
It's like I'd rather just like make this more condensed show that's like really in your face, and you just feel like you just got off like the best roller coaster.
Have you ever seen a long show of an artist that you like and then have like left?
Yeah. All the time. Well, like especially at ACL, like it was just like all these like artists I love.
This year?
Yeah.
Who did you go see?
One that kind of did that to me, and I love her. I will never talk ill about her, but Phoebe Bridgers, which is a big artist that I love. She is incredible, and they cut her set short, which really pissed me off and everybody else off. Like they turned off her sound.
Oh shit!
Which is not okay.
Have you ever had that done to you?
No, and I won't.
A&R me had it done a long time. Is it like the 90s at Saxon Pub? We were so over the top, offensively loud.
Yeah,
the dude just was like,
they just stopped it. They were just like, "That's enough." That sounds.
It's the same sound guy, Richard.
Really,
we're great friends now. Yeah,
that's crazy.
That night was a little weird.
That night made things a little awkward. Yeah. I love that.
All right, so going back to this, if people can go to Quentin Arispe.
Yes.
On Spotify and find it
and everything.
Okay, so,
and find me.
But I mean, find this music because the thing is I can't play this music.
You can't play it.
I can't play what you sound like now. Before, so I'm going to be playing this. It's not bogus, but you're playing 2 songs from these shows. So there is a difference. And so what happened to you? That switch gears that you went from. Can I describe it? Because I've been living in it.
Yeah, please describe
it. And I'm just this much removed from it than you are. Right?
Honest, very, very true.
I mean, it's exactly. I also don't think you could have found 3 other people that get what you're doing as well as dudes that grew up listening to the music that you know what I mean? Like we were little kids in the 70s listening to Queen and Bowie and stuff, you know?
Yeah. It's so bizarre.
Yeah. And those are records that never have left any of our collections. Like we've never stopped listening. Those people never became uncool to us.
Yeah.
So what you're doing now, I feel, is like reaching back to a time of glamour in singing and everything. Like there's a lot of theatrics like Bowie and Freddie Mercury, and the music reflects kind of like the trip that they were on, but it's not just a rip off of it. You know what I mean? It's not like you're just aping that stuff. You really have kind of tuned into the headspace these dudes were in, and that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
What was it that made you do that?
Honestly?
Yeah, honestly. Don't lie to me.
I won't. I like authentically fell in love. Like actually. Like the real deal.
With a human being.
With a human being. Okay. And I've been a romantic since I was like a kid.
Yeah.
Like I just always wanted to be in love.
Yeah.
Like it was just something that I was an only child, you know, low income house. Like it was just I played pretend, and I just wanted to be, you know, the princess. Like that was just such an idea in my head. And then it actually happened. Like I actually fell like in love with someone, and then I was like, oh, this is not what I thought it was going to be. This is so different.
In what, like in a good way, a bad way? In
both.
What way? Okay.
In both ways. In good and bad ways. And then when I was exiting it, exiting that relationship and that love, I was like, I'm different. I'm really different. And that's when all of you guys, like everything kind of came at this one moment. And it was like, oh, now I have to tell. The only thing I want to talk about is the story that's happened. And I felt like the only way to properly like give this story a space was to kind of create a character and a persona around it. And disassociate a bit from the trauma and kind of create an alternate version of myself that I can kind of use to almost heal me.
And that person's named?
Neptune. Sir Neptune. Yes. And
Sir Neptune?
Sir Neptune. I like calling him Sir Neptune. And I use like he, him, like I like almost as if he's another person. In my head, he is.
Are you going to have a what are those, trident?
Maybe.
Like Aquaman?
That'd be cool. Probably not. But yeah.
You mean Neptune the planet or Neptune the god of the sea?
Neptune the planet.
Okay.
I wrote a song a long time ago called Neptune in June.
Yeah.
And I really love that song. And I've always loved the name of planets. Who doesn't? And I also like Freddie Mercury. His last name is Mercury. Right. So I just wanted to be another planet.
You didn't want to be Quentin Neptune.
I didn't want to be Quentin Neptune. Not at all.
It's a lot of ends.
Just Neptune.
Quentin Neptune.
Yeah. And so, but the thing that's like confusing to people is like, oh, it's called Quentin in the Past Lives, but you're a person named Neptune. And I'm like, well, every album is going to get a different character.
So it'll be Quentin in the Past Lives, but in your mind and in the thing, there's this guy Neptune. Are you going to write some kind of paragraph like in the opening of Star Wars? You know,
I really literally thought of doing. I literally thought of doing like a theme. Like there's at the beginning of Tyler the Creator's album, it's called Igor's Theme.
Yeah.
And he created Igor, right? And so it's like I almost wanted to do like Neptune's theme.
Yeah.
So it's like introducing you musically to this character and then kind of playing.
Oh, yeah.
The album just kind of plays out this story almost beginning. It's almost musical, like beginning to end of this man who, who kind of ran away from his femininity and in pursuit to figure out why men do what they do. Which is pretty much me. Which is why I'm doing this. It's a lot, but
that's a lot.
It is a lot.
Am I allowed to ask follow-up questions? Are you guarded by any stuff? Because as a friend, I know I could, but we're on the microphones. I don't want to go back and take stuff out of this.
Yeah,
thing
no. You can ask. You can ask what you want to ask. I really.
So did you forego your femininity and follow your masculinity in that relationship, or you are?
I'm just taking a step back from femininity. Just a quick one. Not even necessarily like in my life.
You're hanging out with us.
That's why I'm hanging out with you guys.
We're bros.
I'm trying to figure out why you guys actively do what you do.
You know what's so funny is we were the kind of kids. We were the kind of kids in the time that we grew up. We were all called the F word. Okay, all of us. All of us. Me by coaches. By my dad, very
everyone, close family members.
Nobody thought I was straight, except girls, right? Now times have changed to the point where we seem kind of dudeish, don't we?
Yeah.
Doesn't it seem like sometimes we're gonna leave with me and Einar and go to a strip club?
I think about that all the time.
We would never do that.
Yeah.
Not even when we were younger dudes. There was a point where we did, but it was because we were in this whole rock and roll circus, and it was other people that wanted to go, and it was free if we went with them.
It's big mood. That's why I've ever gone to a strip club. Yeah, it's...
Yeah. Okay, so there's no way for anyone to reference this music. I could just tell you that what I've seen so far, we're going into the studio when we're recording this, which is almost a month before it's actually coming out. We're about to go into the studio this weekend.
Yep.
And I'm going to miss Saturday, which I'm super sad about, because what's so funny is we're so connected to this particular, there's all the bands we have a connection with in some way, but like there's a lot of connection with you. And
which
I feel like that's really good. Yeah, no, I know you're grateful for it. And I feel like you're the kind of artist, to be honest with you, like, you are a rock star. You don't really have to, I mean, you sing your ass off and you work really hard and you're really good at adapting to change in the moment with your own art, which sometimes people are guarded, and they have some kind of like, hey, fuck you. You don't fucking come in here and tell me what kick drum placement to have. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I was telling this to the boys. I call them the boys in my band. Like, I'm a theater kid, so I still take albums and things from this almost actress perspective, where it's like, I need to like, and you guys are the directors. At the end of the day, I'm still going to be the one that has to go on stage eight shows a week and perform it. But the director gives great direction.
Yeah.
And then you kind of take that direction and then you make it your own, and I've spent my entire life doing that. And so I think it would be hard for other artists who maybe don't have like a extensive theater background to like take direction. Yeah. But it's like, I'm also not like the biggest, like I'm becoming one, but like I was not growing up like a 70s rock fanatic, 80s rock fanatic, and so it's like, you guys were and are.
Sorry. Hey, get out of there. Rosie. My podcast now just has these moments where I yell at Rosie.
With the dog. Yeah. It should be,
sorry, it should be a thing. So sorry, go ahead. So you're not as embedded or it's not as embedded in you as it is in us.
As it is in you guys. And so I really love learning. I'm thinking of this as a character, and I'm thinking this as a character study of learning how to create this sound and this voice. And because I'm not singing like how I usually sing. I'm not performing like I usually perform. I'm playing a character, and this album is about a character. And like, maybe not everyone will take that away. I don't think everyone needs to take that away. It's just music. They should just be listening to it.
Right.
But I think if there's anything I've learned is like, it's about like the detail. Like if you make a really detailed intention of what it is this project is, everything else just kind of starts falling, and people somehow resonate with it more because it's like you've thought it out.
Right.
Like cohesively as a character in the story.
Yeah. It's funny because your mind works so fast and you're so far ahead that when you came up and when you first presented the Neptune thing to me on the phone one day, like, hey, I'm going to become this guy Neptune, and that's who I am and all this stuff. It's like, okay, my first inclination was to be like, hey, Quentin, man, what? Come on, man, just fucking get it together. Like, what are you, crazy? Mm-hmm. But then I thought to myself, like, there must have been a guy when Bowie was like, I'm thinking about having this thing called Ziggy Stardust and Stardust from us. Like, are you fucking nuts, dude? Just do another thing. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to be that guy. I even told A&R that. I was like, well, he said he wanted to be Neptune. He's like, what'd you tell him? And I was like, well, my first inclination was to say, like, are you crazy? But I held it back and I thought about it afterwards, and I thought, I don't want to be that guy that said that to Bowie when it comes to it. Because it sounds insane when you call someone on the phone, there's no context to it. And I know I think during this conversation we'll get to know each other a lot bit, and you'll realize even in the way that I approach you and the difference that A&R approaches you is that I've always been the artist. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I mean, I've been in bands with A&R since 1994. Like, look, you can see even up there, we were famous and everything. So
that's such a cool picture.
But he still told me what to do all the time. I mean, I still had veto power. I mean, it was Gowdy. It wasn't called A&R. But
it wasn't called A&R.
I'm just joking.
I love that.
But I mean, there was there's a certain sensitivity, and I see it in you, and you're just very briefly going over quickly how you grew up and how you lived in your imagination. I know exactly that. Mm-hmm. And theater, I started to move into it in 8th grade and in 9th grade, and then I just was like, I don't want someone to tell me what to do. I'm in a fucking rock band, you know? Anyway, so
I didn't it didn't go that route for me. Like, this is wild. Like this version of myself and like of the music. And I was telling the band how funny it is because like I'm the lead vocalist and I should be like the messiest and the one that's kind of like being, but I'm actually probably the most, like, I'm the mom. Like, I'm like the ringleader, and like the rest of my band are just like wild and reckless. And like, I don't know. I think that's so fun because like, then I just get to match that when we do live shows. I get to like kind of take the apron off.
Well, it takes, you know, that's the person has the
someone's
vision
got to do it
and does the thing. Yeah.
Someone's got to do it.
Some bands have a guy like that really handles a lot of this stuff, you know. I know in my experience with A&R coming up, there was a lot of MD, like,
for sure.
Like, we'd get a new drummer and the guy would be like, what do I play? And I'd look at A&R, you know, just like last night, you just look at A&R and A&R just like a very long and passionate monologue tells them what the guy played.
It's so great.
So let's I want to go back to Corpus, man. So you're from Corpus.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Corpus Christi.
So that's a place A&R and I came up playing. I started playing there in 1989 at a place called Cantina Santa Fe.
Okay.
And we played like Tom.
Oh my God. Downtown?
No, Cantina Santa Fe was a little bit out of downtown. Downtown, we played at a place that changed names a bunch of times. But then there was also, what was the other place that's been there forever?
House of Rock?
No.
Well,
there's one that's been downtown forever, like right by where Centenary Oyster House was.
Concrete Street? Or a Brewster Street?
No. Anyway, whatever.
Okay.
Dr. Rockets?
Dr.
No.
Rocket. Rockets.
Rockets.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
yes.
anyway,
Yes.
All right.
Next to the Ritz Theater.
So what, you came up, like you were born there?
I was born there. Yeah.
And what was your parents' situation? Like what did they do?
I'm adopted.
You're adopted.
So my parents are...
When were you...
birth.
You were adopted at birth?
At birth.
So you...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And, you know, my biological mom just couldn't do it. And...
You ever tried to find her or anything?
Yeah, I met her when I was 18.
How did that go?
We have a really nice, wonderful relationship and friendship now, which is really cool.
That's great.
It's like I just have so many family members.
Yeah.
You know, I have a lot of, and all my life I've had a lot of like parental mentors. You know, like
there's
a lot.
There's I think I have it too, because I lost my mom like as a teenager. I've never really had like a great relationship with my dad. But there's this thing where like, are you my dad? Will you be my dad? You know what I mean? Will you be my mom? But there's a thing about you're not really actively like that, but there's a thing when I'm around you, I want to make sure you're okay.
That's how I think people have always felt with me, even at a really young age.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, this thing is really special, but really fragile. And
You're not that fragile though.
I'm not.
No.
I'm not. But like, I feel like innately people want to just take care of me and make sure that like people don't hurt me. That's always been like a thing since I was like a little kid.
Yeah.
And like, great. I mean, that's good. I'm not complaining, but like, yeah. So adopted my parents. They are just like the most unmusically inclined individuals you could meet. My dad used to DJ, and my mom's always been around music, but they were not vocalists or really anything themselves. My dad was
They listened to it.
Oh
like
yeah,
what
all
was
the
playing
time
in your house?
Well, I grew up listening to a lot of like Christian music, but like the Gaither brothers and
I don't even know
like
who that
Kurt
is.
Franklin and Israel Hoden was like a huge. So these like big
Israel Hoden.
Yeah. You've never heard of Israel Hoden?
Christian show business is so different than regular show business because a guy named Israel Hoden, they make him change his name before he went into
they
like,
would not let him get through
secular
with
show
Israel
business.
Hoden. Yeah, you are totally correct. But it was like this, like it was like church music, you know. So it was like this big music, lots of drama, you know.
Was it like was it black? Are the parents that adopted you?
No, they're
black?
Hispanic.
They're Hispanic.
Yeah. So
Arispe.
Arispe, and I'm also half Hispanic as well, and so it's like. It was just this really, you know, weird. I mean, from the get-go, it was just like this issue with identity because it was just
I can only imagine. That's fucking crazy.
Just because here I am. I have curly hair. I can sing. I'm very loud and eccentric and was really voicing myself at like 3. And like, and you have my dad, who's a police officer, and
oh no shit.
Yeah, my dad is retired for like 40 years, 35 years.
What was that like?
I used to go to daycare in a cop car, and which I think is so funny, it's the irony of that. But my dad, is supportive of my activism, and I think my dad was always kind of a part of. I do believe that my dad is a good cop, and and I don't even want to get into any of that, but
sure.
but just my father is a part of that, and I think that what my dad did was helpful and benefited people.
That's good, because that's the job.
That's my personal opinion and statement on it.
I believe that most cops are good cops. I do too. I know that that's a very weird, unpopular
There's
thing
a
to
lot
say,
going on right now with that. And and I am such an activist of this movement of redirecting what a lot of these institutions mean. Like I'm totally in that mindset. But my dad was a cop, and my mom stayed at home. You have
brothers and sisters?
No brothers and sisters.
So
that was it.
Oh, you have all the stuff that leads you to be
had all
Quentin.
The things. I had all
You know what I mean?
things.
It makes you the lead singer.
The lead singer. So I had, and my parents were, my dad was a cop again. So my parents were extremely protective of me, wouldn't let me go outside.
And Hispanic too. I'm Hispanic. I'm Cuban.
And Hispanic,
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean...
Oh, I know.
I couldn't go outside. Unless they were out there or whatever. And not that I was really wanting to go outside, but a lot of it was just me creating worlds.
Yeah.
With my toys and with my mind and stories and extensive stories that even to this point in my life that I still can't really differentiate from fake and reality, because I was just so in it,
Yeah.
And anytime I get stress or anxiety, I go into those worlds.
Yeah.
I still kind of disassociate into those childlike places.
Yeah.
And so it's this weird thing. But it was this this bed and nesting ground for again what I'm becoming,
Right. So what, were you listening to music and stuff then? C101? What's that? Isn't that the radio station?
I don't even remember. There was a KUT. It's not KUTX. That's here. KLUX.
Okay.
That was. I remember my the daycare I would stay at would play it when we would nap.
What was the music?
It was like jazz.
Oh.
It was soothing. That was a lot of it. And then I would stay with my grandpa a lot. And me and my grandpa would just go into the garage and just do random shit. I don't even know how to explain it, but we would he would let me put coins and that claw thing, and I would just hit it with a hammer. I mean, just the weirdest things.
Did you guys used to watch Sábado Gigante?
My grandma did.
They did, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I definitely, there was a lot of just Spanish things going on, but I was always very protected from Spanish.
From Sábado Gigante?
Well, just because they didn't want... I've never actually asked my parents why, but I mean, I'm not fluent at all in Spanish or anything. It was just it was kind of this Quentin has to be American, has to go out into the real world. And so, yeah, I didn't speak a lot of Spanish or anything. But my grandpa though, I think was a big, is everything okay?
Everything's fine.
Okay. My grandpa was a big supporter. He was a big influence for me now that I'm growing up and realizing it. 'Cause when we were in that garage and I was hammering pennies, my grandpa would just listen to 70s, 60s, Fleetwood Mac. It would be so much of the Temptations, Billie Holiday, Donna Summer, Tina Turner, Ike Turner, and all just there was worlds that would build for me with those songs. I loved it. I still love 70s, disco, like that kind of,
yeah.
Oh, there's
the
nothing,
ones with really good songs,
like Chic. Yeah. There's nothing better than there's nothing better than that music.
No, talk about a pocket and a groove. Like,
Talk about a pocket and a groove.
Those guys can stay on one chord and just
just
go between two chords, and it feels so good. You don't even notice it's 7.5 minutes of two chords.
No, and Diana Ross, the Supremes, and then Etta James, and then now like getting older, even I feel like this year, it turned into the Rolling Stones
for you.
And really listening to Queen, So
listening to like guitar-based rock and roll bands,
Dark Side of the Moon, like really
experimental art,
really listening to that
roll,
for the first time, because I made Spiritual Waiting Room before I listened to Dark Side of the Moon, and then I had so many people telling me like, you literally made like a weird kind of like indie version of Dark Side of the Moon, and I was like, I've never listened to it. I've heard songs from it, but I've never listened to it in its entirety. Yeah, and I did, and I was like, because Spiritual Waiting Room is all one. It connects. It doesn't. There's no stops, and so it was just cool getting to hear that, and then really taking a deep dive into Bowie, really taking a deep dive into Prince.
What was the Bowie that got you? Like, what was the? Well, how are you listening to? Were you finding records, or were you going to his playlists?
I did records, and I did Spotify, which I know is not the way for everybody. But
I had some friends of mine post this shit on there about like some guy wrote a thing and how middle class musicians are getting edged out because Spotify. And I understand that. That's true, and it sucks.
It does.
But you're not going to be able to change it. Like, me not using Spotify as a music fan, because it's the greatest fucking thing you've ever come across in your life as a music fan.
And there's also so many other ways that you
can support musicians.
Yeah, you can support musicians.
That's right.
And so it's go to their show.
Yeah.
Go to their show.
Merch.
Buy their merch.
That's
merch? Really the direct way that we're about to.
You're about to?
Yeah. I want to hold off until we really got something for the Quentin and the Past Lives, Like, until there's really... I'm really trying to build it up here. But yeah.
Okay. So anyway,
I was listening to all this shit.
So you're listening to all this shit. Were you a weird kid, like at school, where kids are like, "Fuck, you're weird," because they were doing that to me. They were like, "You are weird."
For some reason, I was never like bullied, because I feel like I've just always been so myself.
Yeah.
That I think people. Well, I just feel like people were just always like, I don't know what to do with you. I don't know if I need to punch you or hug you or have sex with you. I don't know what I need to do. Right. And like, I feel like I was such a perfect, like, androgynous enigma.
Right. Yeah,
it was actually enough to protect me. Like, I was almost out of the realm of being bullied. Like, I was just adjacent. To being able to be bullied, because it was just like, well, you dress like a girl, but it was like, the thing was that I just naturally looked like a girl. I was just kind of pretty,
right?
And so like, they just didn't know what to do, because it wasn't like I was trying or this gimmick. I was wearing pretty, put together clothes. It was like I wasn't really doing anything too out of the box,
right?
But just my visual aesthetic was out of the box, and so it was
upsetting.
Like, huh?
In Texas, that's like in the South. I guess anywhere it's tough like that, because I was different and I moved around, and I was always like perpetually like a new kid at a place, and getting beaten up all the time. Yeah, I never got beat up. I definitely, I'm sure there was people that obviously didn't like me and probably called me names, but like it wasn't really ever in my face or directed towards me. I was also just kind of a mess as a kid. Like, I was doing a lot of theater. I didn't have a lot of identity. I didn't know a lot of, I feel like I'm just barely figuring out like who Quentin is outside of some character on a stage. Right. And that was really, really hard for me, but I feel like this album, or this music that's coming, I feel like there was just this weird thing that clicked when I did that Scootin' show. It's going to be like the thing that I say like in 50 years, it's like, it was that show. That was a show. Something clicked, I heard the pop sound in my head, and it was like,
because I was out there with no shirt, which I've never done before.
That was the part that I was going to say.
Yeah.
Because that was the best part of the call, was like, and I took my shirt off.
I took my shirt off.
I took my shirt off. Like you said first, you said it confidently at first, and then you're like shocked, like, I took my shirt off.
I
Like,
did.
Yeah.
I don't even, and I remember kind of a bit premeditative, like premeditated concept,
Sure.
but then I just blacked out, and then I woke up and halfway in it, and I was like, oh, I have my shirt off. Okay, I did it. I don't remember when I did it. But what the biggest things, like I told you, I realized was that I need to here I was doing theater for 10 years of my life, writing a musical, doing so much theater. And then when I started making music and really wanting to make music, I wanted nothing to do with theater. I was like, I don't want people to know that I did it. I don't want any of that shit.
You see the...
Yeah, and I was like a dancer. I was like, I don't want people to know I'm a dancer. I don't want people to know anything. And then now I was like, oh my God. Like,
right.
All of this is what's missing in music right now is the drama,
right.
is the theater of show and of music and projects. And
it seemed like there was a glimpse of that with like Lady Gaga, and even I guess because not even because he went and sang for Queen, but I felt like Adam Lambert was going to be a guy that was going to give us what we needed.
Was about to rip it open.
Yeah.
It was the wrong bad timing.
It wasn't.
No one was ready yet, and they didn't even. I think, and that's the thing. I think it's the real issue about these like queer artists wanting to come in. You know, it's like, I'm not here to be queer first and music second. And I feel like a lot of times it's like, femme and yes, and work queen, and you better hit the house down, honey. And it's like, okay, but I'm a musician.
I'll be honest with you. I a lot of publicists come to me with their artists all week long, right? Constantly. Mm-hmm. And there's people that you get it, and that's like the headline.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the first thing before even their name.
Yeah.
You know? And I understand the pride. Like, hey, I've never really been able to say this, so now that's going to be
here I am.
The thing that totally identifies me. But my heterosexuality isn't what identifies me. My humanity is.
My humanity. I'm a human first.
Yeah.
I'm a human first, and I have I'm a human that fell in love and got heartbroken. And that is something that everyone can relate to.
What was the because you do stuff, you do drive-bys. Is that person there? Now you got social media drive-bys, which is just sad, because then the person's at a place and you're like, oh, who's not in the picture? Who took the picture? Did you go through that? Did you do anything weird, like drive-by? Like, you know what I'm talking about, like drive-by and see if anyone's there.
I know what you're talking about. And not really.
That's good.
Yeah, I didn't.
Well, when you get your heart broken, you do stuff that's out of the ordinary of your normal character in a desperate fashion. Things. That in some way, like, what part of doing that is going to make you more attractive to that person that doesn't want to have anything to do with
absolutely.
you?
And you know what's the weirdest thing?
What?
And it so much of my life is a contradiction, which I think is fun at this point. It wasn't fun at first, but now it's fun. But I feel like, I told my friend this the other day, I feel like the relationship that I had made me a woman. Like, it made me authentically understand what it feels like to be the divine feminine, you know, like to be this feminine energy. And I was leaning into it so much because I felt like I had to maintain this digestible thing for him to look at and be like, okay, I know what that is, you know, because when you're androgynous, you're just so in the middle sometimes that you feel like, well, if I'm not like completely a woman or completely a man, they're not going to get it. And I've spent so much of my life being like that. Yeah. But this was like the first time where I felt I went all the way left to feminine. Like, I was like, you know, every day just experiencing and living life almost as a cis female, and really genuinely knowing how it feels to be the girlfriend of a boyfriend, you know, of a man. And like,
that sounds terrible.
It was interesting. It was a great. I see everything as a character study.
So your
and
backlash,
it was interesting.
Your backlash,
this is backlash.
Is to be the man.
Be the man.
You're not in a relationship now.
No.
Are you gonna go take it out on somebody?
Not yet. I'm gonna take it out on everyone that listens to the songs.
That's
and
true.
comes to the shows.
Okay, wait. So we keep.
They're my rebounds.
Yeah.
And like, because it was like, I went red, you know.
Yeah,
I went red.
Yeah.
I've never done that before.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna make you sit for 45 minutes and listen to what the fuck I need to say. And that's what this album is. And that's what this music is. And I just felt like, what better way to do it than by following the greats, you know, like following Bowie, following Queen. I think they were the best at doing that. They were just like, it's my turn to talk. They're like, shut up. Like, I have something to say and I'm going to say it. And you're all going to listen, and you're not even going to realize. And that's the thing is that all these people who are going to listen to this music, they're not even realizing that they're supporting a movement, that they're supporting the LGBTQIA plus community. I want you to like my music because I'm a good artist.
Yeah.
I don't want you to like my music because, and that's also why I wanted to create a male persona, because I was like,
right,
let's take it away. Let's take all the bullshit
right.
away and just look at him and he's hot and he's cool and like, and he's confident and he knows what he wants. And, you know, and he's gonna break some hearts. And like, I don't know how that feels. I've never been in that position. And so this has been so fucking fun, you know, for me to get to learn, dig into that, and to dig into when do you step away from yourself as a man? Like, when do you start really just becoming this shelled kind of hard thing, you know, like, when does the chain smoking begin? You know, and what got 53. You there? Yeah, at 53. Yeah, and what got you there? And it's like, I'm so intrigued. And the blessing of being a queer person is that I actually get to do it. There's so many women that I love and I know that are asking the same question, feminine energies that aren't able or don't feel like they're able to actually step into that man's shoes.
You can.
But I can, and I can do it for them, and I'm going to. And I don't think people are going to even fucking realize that that's what I'm doing. I think they're just going to be like, oh, this is cool. His band's cool. They have cool outfits and they look cool. And sure, if that's all you take from it, then like, cool. But I think there will be some people that are like, oh no, this person has had it. And I have. I'm done.
Right.
I'm done. I'm done with the bullshit. Like, let's go, you know, like. And that's what I think you've heard it. I think that's what all that music is that I've been writing is like exclaiming, you know, it's just like, fuck it. Yeah. You know, like, and I just think that that Mick Jagger, Rolling Stones, you can't always get what you want. Like, I think there's just no better way to explain a feeling of control and a feeling of dominance than rock music. I think that that's what it is in the essence of it. Yeah. And that's why I chose it as the vehicle for this project. But then the next project may require R&B. It may require 90s pop. Right. You know, and so it's like,
there was an era, the first Harry Styles solo record was in this kind of same vein of, you know.
Incredible. I think his second one was even better.
Unbelievable.
Golden, that's the opening song. Da 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 da. Yeah. Jesus. That song, that album, 40, 50, 60, 70 years. You could still pop it on whatever you pop things on. In your little Mars hut, and
whatever
you're
people are complaining about then.
Yeah, and you're gonna be able to just listen to it and go,
listen to it and go. I want to cover something because now we're kind of reaching the sort of like final stretch of this thing, but I want to make sure that. So how did you get into musical theater?
I auditioned for a show called Oz the Musical. It was a little traveling tour with Todrick Hall. And my mom was kind of like, don't get your hopes up. I was like 10, 9. I was like, don't get your hopes up. I begged her. I was like, please let me do this thing. Please let me do shows. Like, I was just wanting to do you were ready. I was ready. I was like, let's go. Yeah. How I am right now.
Need me. Yeah.
Literally like how I feel right now. It's like, let's go. Everyone, let's get on the boat. And I was like, just put me in front of them. Like, I'll do it. Like, shut up. Just let me do it. And I said that in a 10-year-old way. And my mom took me to the audition and I got it. I got in. And my mom was like,
you went on the road?
It was in Corpus. That one was I did the one that was at the Selena Auditorium in Corpus.
The Selena
Auditorium. And it was just game changing. And then I just started doing, community regional theater for, around 10 years.
What all were you in? Name like 5 musicals that everybody knows. Were you in cabaret?
Never did cabaret. I was too young. Man. I stopped at 18.
I guess also there's not a lot of African American guys in cabaret because of the Nazi stuff.
First of all, just like historically, it kind of is weird. But I would love to play the MC one day, or actually, the great thing about where I'm at in my life now is that I even want to play. I want to play Sally.
Yeah,
I would love to play Sally.
That'd be a good interpretation, like a weird sort of like avant-garde.
Yeah, I'm like, why not? But
Were you in like Oklahoma or any shit like that?
No, I did.
Jesus Christ Superstar.
No, you're all knows. I did Chicago, which is my greatest joy that I got to be in that show. I got to play Mary Sunshine. I got to play the female reporter, and she's such a big role in the musical, and that was so cool. Godspell. I don't know why I wanted to put out Godspell, but I loved being in it. It's a weird show, but it's such a powerful show to be a part of.
I had the record.
Stephen Schwartz.
Somebody had the record. My mom or something.
It's incredible. It's an incredible show. I did. I did the Little Mermaid. Because
the musicals aren't just like the traditional.
Yeah, I was Sebastian.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of the popular ones.
South Pacific or anything like that.
No, I did Music Man. I did Music Man. I was just one of the city members. I didn't really do. I didn't. I think that, and I did the straight play version. I think there's only the straight play version of Treasure Island. And I played the
Robert Louis Stevens novel.
Yeah. And I played the drunk lead pirate. And that was so weird for me because it was super, super masculine. And like I had to play a drunk man, that is a pirate. And I was like, how on earth am I gonna and I had just finished doing Chicago, playing a literal woman. And so it was just like the weirdest. But then that's when I realized, I really love doing these switch ups. And
So let me ask you this: do you drink?
Sometimes.
You're not like a big party dude.
Nope.
Because no one's picking up Quentin at the end of the night at the club.
No. I always tell people like there's like maybe one time a year that you're gonna have to pick Quentin up off the ground. It always happens like once for the last 3 years. There's like just one night where I don't know, something
I want to be there for
off.
that.
It's fun because that's a different me.
That being my party, I was like,
you were definitely feeling it.
Yes, I was.
You were having a good time.
I have a line I kind of get to one level, and that personality wise, and like I don't argue, I just laugh and smile and tell everyone I love them the whole time.
I love the people that when they get drunk they become loving.
I'm that guy.
You're one of those. And I saw that.
Yeah. Ridiculously loving.
I think
that was the night we met in person too for the first time.
That was the first time that we really met, and it was love at first sight.
Love at first sight.
Love at first sight.
What's your favorite musical?
Ooh, thank you for asking me that question.
Wicked. No, I'm joking.
I love Wicked.
I've never seen it. Just the commercial whenever it comes to town is on every morning.
I love Wicked. You know, my answer used to be the show called Next to Normal. But I think now my answer is this show called The Last 5 Years. And it's a musical with a 2-people cast. And it's about a man and a woman who are getting a divorce after being together for 5 years. And the male character starts at the beginning of the romance, and the female character starts at the end of the romance. And the whole show is them going the opposite direction. So it starts with the first song is called Still Hurting, and it starts with Kathy getting the letter that he's leaving. And then it's almost like a review, and it goes back and forth between them. And then it's like goes to the guy, and he's like, I just met this girl, and I'm obsessed with her. And then it's like, so you're just playing this game.
Oh, shit.
But there's a part where it meets in the middle.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's great. And it's just,
that sounds fantastic.
It's just 2 people, and it's such a Jason Robert Brown, who wrote Songs for a New World, which is one of my favorite.
I don't know modern theater at all.
I'm such a theater, like I am such a that's the.
Do you think you'll go back to doing it? Because it takes a lot out of. I mean, you can't really. I can't really do anything else.
I can't do
when
both.
You're doing it.
Yeah, I would need. That's my
take
secret,
a year off and go.
That's my secret plan. Is I just want to get all this really rolling to where I can make one call to some director at Broadway and just get it.
It's one of those things that also, like, when you've been on tour for 4 or 5 years, you're going to be like, fuck yeah, I want to live in New York City. And
I want to live in New York. I want to put a wig on, and I want no one to talk to me. And I want to get my Tony, and I want to walk away. And that's my dream.
I hope that you achieve it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, John.
I do. I've enjoyed getting to know you. You're a special person. And you're a fun person to be around. Like, your energy is infectious.
Thanks.
And I enjoy that about you.
Thanks. It's a work in progress. But
yeah.
We
all are, man.
I'm just figuring this whole thing out. And this interview,
So am I, man.
I know. It never stops. And I feel like this interview is really important for me because I've been racking my brain around if I'm going to, how much is going to be Neptune and how much is going to be me. And I think when I do interviews and when I talk, that's when it's Quentin.
Yeah.
And then you get to see Neptune on stage. If you want to see him, he's in a void. He's in a untouchable, untangible place.
Once you do one of those things and you go on as a character on things, and then it becomes weird, and then at some point you're not going to want to be the character.
Yeah.
And then people aren't going to like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I'm glad that you're staying yourself.
I'm just going to, here is me, and you're just going to have
people
conversations
don't like
with
Neptune.
me.
They're like, don't worry, he's going to make another album. He'll be another person. Then.
Yeah, but that's also the thing is I don't want people to get attached to the characters.
I think that's how people felt about Bowie and even Prince.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Prince records. I mean, Prince is one of my favorite artists. Bowie's one of my favorite artists, but they both made records that I don't like at all.
Yeah.
Like phases of their thing. I'm like, why are you being that guy now?
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I think that's to preserve Quentin and to preserve whoever I create the character to be. Because that's why I called it Quentin. I think that's what people need to realize moving forward is that's why I called it Quentin and the past lives. Quentin and the various lives that Quentin has lived.
Yeah.
Or Quentin could live. The Quentin and the endless possibilities is pretty much what it's called. And it's like, so every time what I love about theater and what I miss about theater and what I want to create album wise in tandem with theater is that I love when I go and see a show and there's just a red curtain, and that red curtain is the same every show. But then the curtain rises and then there's this world.
Magic. Yeah.
And it's always different.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to do. But those people they leave, they take everything off, and they go home. And that's what I'm going to do. You know what I mean? It's like I walk away, and then you come, and for 45 minutes on at Empire, wherever I'm at a show, you're going to see the myth, the legend.
Sucks I'm not going to be here on Friday.
I know.
I'd like to go see that.
That's his debut.
The last show you had was the night we got Rosie at exactly that time. When you played at like 8:30 or something, and the lady was driving down from Fort Worth to bring us Rosie at 8:30.
I love Rosie.
I love Rosie too.
Yeah, that if there's any reason why you missed the greatest, the show that changed my life, it definitely should be because of Rosie.
Well, at least Alex was there for it.
Alex was there, and A&R heard one song outside of. But
that's why A&R was like, if you want to just meet me outside of the thing, because you can hear the show out there. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It's been a real pleasure getting to know you. I hope that because I know that like now we've been doing the Tuesdays like an AA meeting or something with instruments.
It is,
and now there's going to be like the 2 days of intense, long days, and I'll be there at least for the second one. But then we'll go back to like meeting up once a month and talking about stuff. But we should stay in touch. We live by each other. We should walk our dogs together.
I'm totally down.
Yeah.
I'm totally down.
I really care about you. You've really you've got a spot in my heart.
Thank you. You have a spot in mine.
Yeah.
So,
Quentin Arispe. Do I put this under Quentin Arispe or Quentin and the past lives?
Probably put it under Quentin and the past lives.
All right.
Let's just. Oh, that's such a great question.
I
need to kind of think about that, shouldn't I?
You got some time to think about it.
I have some time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Well, I love you. I've enjoyed getting to know you, and this has been a great conversation. We'll do it again.
For sure.
When the album comes out.
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah. Right.
That would be cool.
Quentin Arispe from Quentin and the Past Lives. You can find him on Instagram and Spotify. Check out his album, The Spiritual Waiting Room. You will be able to hear his brand new singles done with the Artist Development Program and Frenchie Smith in January. Quentin and the Past Lives. Go to Quentin and the Past Lives on Instagram. Go to Quentin Arispe on Spotify to follow them. Great conversation. The musical theater stuff is really good, right? I love that dude. I love you, Quentin. All right. Hey, gang, listen, I hope you're getting your shopping done. I hope you're getting your Christmas done. I hope everything is working out for you. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. That's my wish for you. I wish you the best. Hey, gang, don't forget when you're out there checking out Quentin Arispe on Spotify, you can subscribe to this podcast wherever it is that you find podcasts, be it Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Overcast, Stitcher, everywhere you find podcasts, new shows all the time. I'll be talking to the guys from Esther's Follies on Thursday. Yeah, I'm putting the show out on Thursday instead of on Christmas Day. Just maybe you guys will listen to it if you're traveling to Grandma's house on Thursday night. All right. Hey, listen, everyone, have a great holiday. Enjoy yourself. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Wear a mask. Get vaccinated. Don't go hang out with a bunch of people. All right. Here's the rest of this song, Killer, from Quentin Arispe. Let's get down.
I don't know what I'm thinking. I don't know what I'm thinking anymore. She's a killer. Fight it. I'm a killer. Fight it. She's a killer. Fight it. I'm a killer. Fight it. Fight it. I'm a killer. Fight it. She's a killer. Fight it. I'm a killer. Fight it.